Okay, so 20 seconds back delay. Game 1 is going to be Hunwars. Finally, we'll be seeing Yo versus Fire playing. And I'm just a bit lost for words for now. I'm sorry, there's just so much going on. At the same time, almost nothing going on the past 1.5 hours. I'll do my best and keep focused, but I can't promise everything.
So, the maps.
Let's
What do you
start.
think about Yo's map?
No, I just want to start with Fire, but we can start with Yo as you wanted. It's almost as if he has his own personal BF right now. This is a beautiful map in my opinion.
Yeah,
He has such an easy time walling, and once he's walled, he has a safe wood line from any archers, cav archers or anything. He has a safe gold. He can basically play this like an arena in my opinion. He even has a second gold in the back which is relatively safe. Yeah, he has these hills in the front just a little bit, but isn't the end of the world. He even has deer nearby to push.
He will just go FC with the thrust or something.
I wouldn't be surprised indeed to see Yo doing the rush into FC if he realized how good his map is. If we're looking at Fire's map, however, it's again very open in the front. Once again, all those hills being there, he will have quite a struggle defending it.
His goal is like just down off the hill.
Yeah, just like, hey, you can pick up villages for free over here and continue your raiding afterwards. He has this woodline in the back, but once again on the hill, woodline on the side as well. He can wall off at the right, but we know Yo is on the left, so that isn't going to be much of a help. Yeah, from here on, Fire's map is just so much worse. We can see his additional goals as one to the north, and I'm in doubt whether this is his extra one. I think it is, so that one is very skewed towards Yo as well. So once again we see Fire having quite a bit of a map. He really might struggle over here. He still has the time to call a re as the players have F1Re for his best of 5.
Yeah, but I don't think he will call a re with this map.
Yeah, indeed. I can imagine him on game 1. You probably do not want to call a re because it isn't the worst map in the world, even though it's still pretty awkward in my opinion. And it's just beautiful for Yo, really. But yeah, we can indeed, as we've been talking about earlier, we see Yo having 4 on wood right now. Same for Fire, by the way, which I find quite interesting.
Yo's map, I think he would have called a re, but now we won't, because his map is decent for Arabia.
Yeah, and it's the Green Arabia, so often a bit friendlier than the dry Desert Arabia, I mean.
Yeah, you often want to keep it for the one with all the ponds, because you often have like no wood at all.
But what I wanted to mention was we see both players having 4 on wood, so is Fire also going for the Drush with that kind of map? I will be really surprised to be honest, because this map isn't very friendly to Drush, because if he's Drushing and suppose Yo is going for food or aggression, Fire will really struggle getting any control over the gold, and he doesn't know that Yo is most likely going for the Drush, because as you mentioned before, he doesn't have any scouting information on Yo, so I'm not sure if there's another explanation for him to get the 4th village on wood, or whether he's going for the Drush, and hence quite a cocky decision in my opinion.
Yeah, and he just scouted gold, so he might think Yo's base is on that side. Although it seems he goes back with the scout again.
Sacrifice, Phil will just survive with 2 HP. Getting the ball safely and scouts just barely missing each other. I'm really wondering what Fire will be doing from here on, to be honest, because I do not feel... I mean, if you're going a Drush versus a Drush, you might have a reasonable easy time, because you will be clicking up to Castle Age before your enemy is going to get even more aggression in after the Drush, that is. I mean, you're not really going to see any archers coming in Feudal Age and punish you for being on gold forward whatsoever. There's only this Drush, and then you're just safe until the Castle Age, and at that time you will be Castle Age as well. So at that point, Drush versus Drush might be quite reasonable for Fire right now, but if Yo would be going for feudal aggression, then he would really struggle to make sure he gets a good uptime to Castle Age, and he might not even be able to do so.
Well, Fire scouted the barracks now, so he knows for sure that Yo goes for the Drush.
Yeah, he is indeed. He might run into the gold as well right now. That's going to make it even more obvious. 1 vil getting the 10 gold in. Are we seeing anyone getting 10 gold or Fire so far? No, there's not. So it seems like Fire isn't going for the Drush after all. Now I'm a bit puzzled why he added another one on wood. Unless he's going to make some giant walls, I'm not really able to give another explanation, to be honest. And here we see Fire getting the loom, so he will be collecting up a 21 population. We see the Drush coming out for Yo, so hence he will most likely be upping at something like 27, 28 villages from here on. And indeed already dropping the walls because he has such a nice and friendly map. That's just his karma for Fire letting us wait, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like Fire was short of food to click up. Because, yeah, he obviously put villages on wood earlier, but he just waited.
Now we have the barracks for Fire coming up now as well. I guess Fire will be following the usual scout build as we see him adding a second lumber camp. And obviously the two farms going down. So, from there on, I'm a bit concerned for Fire, because I believe Fire did scout quite a reasonable part of Yo's map, but he doesn't know that it's quite an insane map. He's going to run in the rush right now. But my concern is, Yo is easily walled right now, so those scouts aren't going to do anything. From there on, Fire will be investing so much food and resources not paying off, and that's going to delay his castle time even more, so then Yo might be able to do a lot of damage with his way earlier castle time, especially if he's able to get some damage in with the Drush. But let me just swap to Yo's perspective. He doesn't have a lot of scouting information on Fire, knows where his woodline is though, so that's most likely where he will be going. And he might even be able to deny the stable a little bit unless we're going to see some quick walls of Fire over here, which he seems to be doing. And Fire also picking off his scouts, going to deny a bit more of information. Obviously is going to make harassing a bit harder. And Yo even laming the deer right now just to deny some additional food.
Yeah, but it looks like Fire is fine.
Yeah, Fire doesn't need... Yeah, I still doubt whether Fire is fine, to be honest. I mean...
Yeah, he can try to go full scouts and still hurt himself a lot by not getting in.
My main concern is, like, he is fine for now. The Drush isn't going to do a lot of damage, but it doesn't need to do a lot of damage because Yo has such a nice map. He just is safe until he's going to hit Castle Age, in my belief. I mean, if we see Fire maybe going forward with a villager dropping a tower so Yo cannot rewall, or we must see Fire going for some archers to make sure that Yo cannot rewall, but as long as Yo can reroll, there's just no damage coming in for Fire, except for the idle time and the resources going into the wall.
Yeah, but he can still wall behind on every spot and even wall behind again towards his DC, so... It won't
Yeah, indeed. So I don't think Fire will be able to do any damage. I hope he will be low on the scout count for most of the game. He got 2 scouts out.
So...
Doing a nice job losing 1 scout. Is he still queuing scouts though? Because what I would like to see from Fire's position from here on is just do not invest too much in feudal age, because that's just going to delay your castle and it's not going to do an awful lot of damage.
Yeah, I think he will stay on 2 scouts now and then just go up. He's going already.
And as people are asking in the chat, Yo did loom before clicking up. And is now dropping the archer range. Do you think he will actually be getting some archers out or just straight going for the CA? Once he hits the castle age?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You normally go archers, but since he can be... Yeah.
The main thing I would like about archers is that he would just have an army ready to directly deal damage to Fire and delay his castle time even more. So I would love to see some archers being upgraded to expose, but I'm not sure if that's worth it if he's going to stick on 1 range for now, which what he seems to be doing. With 2 ranges it might pay off a bit more, as otherwise you'll just idle your ranges an awful lot. And we also see Fire now getting golden and dropping the archer range. He has 4 on gold, that's more than I would expect of just making sure he's going to get to the castle age. Not entirely sure if he plans on investing on archers for now, or whether he is just getting the archer range to get up, and from there on obviously you will need the ranges to get a castle age production in, because you really want to get cav archers or exposed out, and here we see the scouts of Fire just doing nothing really. So double range, it seems like Fire will be clicking up quite soonish. But Yo just having an amazing head start. From down, he might be able to do a lot of damage. Let me check if Yo... It seems like he isn't queuing any archers, so I bet Yo will be going straight for cav archers from Hiln.
Yeah, he might even just drop the town center. And since he knows he is faster up and can assume Fire will just go up too.
Well, we see Yo now dropping a third archer range. I doubt he will be dropping a TC soon, but rather just going for the CA from Hiln. He's quite an advantage getting up to the cast range that much earlier, so he's really able to get more CA out, and from down he might do a lot of damage. Here we see Fire clicking up, being approximately 2 minutes later. Might have a hard time actually defending this gold. There's no tower on it either, so the cav archers will probably get a lot of damage in. His wood line is still pretty far away from his town center as well. Not a lot of walls here for Fire, actually not any. So with the cav archers now coming out for Yo, Fire is in a risky position because I feel this time frame there is that Yo has, I mean, is pretty huge, and I think Fire will be forced to actually get out the expos. You can see him getting archers and skirmishes right now, because if he isn't producing anything in those ranges right now, he will be behind on military count for most of the game, unless Yo is going to make a huge mistake with his cav archers right now, because Yo is just going to be producing full time from now on.
Yeah, and it looks like Fire even idled his DC to click up because he is getting behind on kill count now.
Yeah, indeed, as obviously castle time costs a little bit as well. I think neither player has done wheelbarrow so far. And Yo might even have the opportunity to deny the third range going up for Fire here, which might be pretty huge. As Fire will already be behind on production because he's late up to the castle age, but also another range behind. That's going to hurt an awful lot.
Yeah, and Yo has the block now, so he will also outrange the army.
Yeah, and he's still getting quite a bit of skirmishes out, so the X-Bow upgrade isn't really paying off for him right now. Vulcan Arrow being done for Fire, really prefer to see that one. But as we figured, Yo is able to do quite a bit of damage in this time frame, not just delaying the additional production of Fire, but also making sure he cannot invest in the cav archers. We also see some huge walls from Fire in the back here to make sure that is safe, but it isn't securing a lot of resources, because this is just plain out grass and nothing else. And still the third range not going up. And we just can, yeah, Fire is higher on the is actually equal on the military count right now. But they are just not as good. He's getting exposed right now. He might be not swapping for cav archers for quite a while, because he will just need the exposed to defend at his base. He needs something out a bit quicker, or else he won't be able to fight his cav archers. Yo doing a really good job so far.
Yeah, he will just micro his faster cavalry archers away and just pick up the pills.
Yeah, and he's already doing a good job. We can already see 7 more villages for Yo right now, which is partly caused by the idle time. And also just, yeah, University going up for Fire though. Might be considering getting ballistics a bit earlier, as he really needs to fight right now, and he's probably fearing he's unable to get a better boom going than Yo at this point. And overall we've been seeing a lot of players preferring to get ballistics a bit earlier rather than going for the additional town center, and with Fire's map I think that's a better decision overall anyway.
He was on 2000s already, so he decided to go that way, which is fine with the damage he has done, and he can just add the university now.
Yeah, indeed, Yo can afford to get a ballistics a bit late. I mean, he's mainly picking off villages right now. He's just trying to do a bit of hit and run, and he's dealing the damage. He's getting the additional eco himself. He's just going to have a huge lead, and from down, I really think he's just able to get ballistics a bit later. And Yo already dealing so much damage. The map really paying off. You can just see his possibilities. We see second town center being added for Fire, going up quite a bit later. Not really covering any gold, but as I mentioned before, Fire doesn't really have a nice map to actually cover his golds with a town center. We can already see Yo being 14 villages behind.
ahead.
Sorry, ahead. My bad. I got mixed up a little bit.
Just took every arches. So only now the exposed will go forward.
And yeah, and from there on... yeah, there's actually someone mentioning something interesting in chat right now. We can see Yo now getting the bloodlines, because obviously he went up with the 3 archer ranges and the blacksmith. So he didn't have the stable earlier to get the bloodlines. It's going to be very important. But Fire doesn't have the bloodlines either, even though he has the stable. I'm not sure if he's forgetting or whether his eco isn't allowing it at this point. I can see him being quite at a max of resources, and obviously getting the additional cav archers out is very important. Bloodlines is going to make a huge difference, especially with the fight right here, where Yo is already outnumbering Fire, but also has bloodlines done.
Yeah, but he has no ballistics, right?
Yeah, I believe Yo didn't get ballistic so far.
He's going for the 3rd town center now.
And Yo, where is he dropping it? On his main goal. Okay, so now 3 town centers up for Yo. Fire trying to see if he can deal any damage in between, but I doubt he will succeed as the TCs are covering most of the fields. He's picking off 1 or 2. Was Fire actually able to collect ballistics early because he has the university, but... Could you check it real quick?
Yeah, I'll check it.
And Fire actually succeeding to deal some damage here as Yo has all the woodlines in the front. Now losing... Sorry?
He doesn't have the ballistics.
So Fire getting the university up before the town center, but was unable to actually spend the resources on ballistics from there on. That's really a pity, because that's why you want to spend this 200 wood. And yeah, I just figured Outsider's are just missing. Didn't really have faith in the ballistics. He is quite ahead in military now, however. But a part of it still is exposed, so we have to see whether that's going to pay off. He's using them quite aggressively right now, so that might work in his favor. Wheelbarrow now being done by Yo. And there we have it, Fire finally clicking the ballistics. Might be losing quite a bit of expos here if he isn't careful. And there we have it, Yo also getting the ballistics in. And we can actually see Fire being the aggressor from here on. I'm a bit surprised because Yo seems to be in such a strong position. Even though he's picking off quite a bit of CA, he's still the one being attacked right now, even though Fire now has his troops spread out all over the place, so he's not really able to get any aggression going, and he's just letting his units being picked off 1 by 1. And also losing a few to the CC Fire earlier. So now ballistics done for both players. Small military lead for Fire, but still a huge villager lead for Yo at this point, and now also the tumbling being done, and I believe Fire is still at 2 town centers. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Fire knows he has to keep the military advantage because he can't defend his base otherwise.
Yeah, indeed. Fire's base is really unfriendly, so he will need to keep that lead, as you mentioned, else he's just going to lose the control of his gold. And I wonder how he will be able to get control of the gold in the later stages of the game. And let me check the defensive upgrades. We see the second defense upgrade coming in for Yo, and finally we have the bloodlines for Fire here. Might want to wait with picking the fights until he has the bloodlines, even though he's nicely using the hill advantage. Bloodlines is going to make his life a lot easier. Earlier, wow. 4th range coming up for Fire, was Yo is still sitting at 3 and is now moving on to the stone.
Yeah, he just opened up the back of his base.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he plans on doing. He's rerolling it right now, it seems. And there we have it. So let me just check Yo's eco. He's being pretty high on the food count right now. Never mind, it seems like he just... Wait, did it just happen when I swapped? Oh, okay. Never mind, he clicked hand cards, that explains it. Ooh, this seems like a really bad fight for Fire. Even though he seems to have a higher number count, fighting uphill doesn't seem like the best idea, and this fight is actually going really even. But if we look at how much resources both players invested in this fight, I think Yo is all way better.
I was happy with this fight. He killed a lot more.
Yeah, indeed. Whilst he started with less, he's now just picking off more. So, nice fight for Yo there. Not really sure if it was a good call of Fire to actually go and get a fight there. Fire now finally being on 3 TCs as well, dropping it on his additional gold.
Yeah, Yo
So,
started to collect the relics.
yeah, Yo really early with getting the relics in. Nice to see it. Expecting maybe for the game to continue to be quite long and wants to prepare for the long run of the game, as he seems to be doing fairly well right now. And now Elite Skirmish is coming through for Fire, not feeling too confident maybe, just needs to make sure he gets the defense in. Interesting decision, and it really might pay off to save some more gold for units later on, especially after losing that many cav archers earlier.
And he finally got this 30C up on the secondary gold.
And another important thing I forgot to mention during the last fight, when Fire was fighting uphill, Yo actually had a +2 defense, where Fire only had +1, and it seems like Yo is now considering to drop a castle on the hill at the front of his base. Really nice decision by him in my opinion. Make sure that that Fire cannot start an offense from that place, and is also covering the gold here a little bit. The only risky thing in the long run is if Fire is going to grab the other hill, he might be able to have an easy fight versus this castle. And again, it seems like Fire will be picking a fight uphill a little bit. Both players have the +2 defense right now, so that's going to help him out a little bit. He seems to be focusing the castle every now and then. That's going to take a bit of his damage away, but he's also mixing in his skirms, but the same thing is happening for Yo right now. It seems like Fire really has a huge number advantage here. It will help him out, but once again, not picking the best fight in my opinion, but rather just... I feel like this move is mainly to deny this castle from going up, but now we see Yo clicking to the Imperial Age. I will swap to Fire's perspective real quick. Fire is actually on a high gold count, reasonable food count, so he might be clicking up quite soon, but it's obviously going to be a bit later.
But it looks like he's winning the fight for the castle.
Yeah, indeed. Yo is just outnumbered by too much right now. We can see the military count now, just the leftover fight. We just see Fire having so much more units just rolling around on the field, and all military we have on the Yo side is just skirmishes. This castle is so expensive to get up, losing that much army, that much villages.
Yeah, he just got it in the end, although he lost the fight, he still got the castle up, which is great.
Yeah, but still it feels a bit quirky losing that much in this stage of the game. It feels like Yo's military production has been lacking a little bit. He was rather investing the resources in clicking up and stuff like it. We actually see Fire adding some knights, not sure. Obviously they will do a great job versus the skirmishes, but they are very food intensive and it's just going to delay his imp time even more and more. And we can see Fire clicking handcard right now before going up to the imp. He's having a lot of gold, doesn't seem to be spending a lot of it, not making any new CA. I wonder what his plan will be from now on, because he has so much resources, and I'm not sure who in the chat was talking about Yo going Tarkans, but we actually see them coming out right now.
He has the second castle in the back of his base, so he can produce from 2.
Yeah, indeed, and protecting the gold a little bit as well. And if Fire is mainly going for the skirmishes, then the Tarkans might pay off pretty okay, as they have quite a high peace armor. They can ignore skirmishes pretty much. And they are a reasonable raiding tool from there on as well. Here we see Yo now hitting the imp. Fire just clicking, so once again quite a big time frame for Yo to see if he maybe can do anything with it. But if I look at the military count, I do not have too much faith in Yo actually doing too much with the Imperial Age advantage for now. Getting conscription going. Is Yo just going to master Tarkans from here on? It would be wonderful to see.
And if it will be a Tarkan fight, he's in a good spot, because Fire does have a castle.
Yeah, Fire is heavily instoned right now, so he might plan on dropping a castle on the hill over here to make sure he secures the gold and has a nice spot to launch offense on, but he might struggle if the Tarkans will be there to deny it, as his main army consists of archers, yeah, that is just skirmishes and cav archers right now.
Yeah, Yo is sending 10 pills forward to mine Fire's gold, But
With Fire still having control of the hill. A bit of a cocky decision.
yeah, the same for this castle.
Oh wow, Yo is really about the forward castles this time.
Lose it?
You should delete it in time.
I think he's just watching it.
Yeah, I did cancel it. Yeah, Fire isn't that heavy on knights. It's, by the way, adding a 4th town center in the north of the map just to secure that gold over there.
Yeah,
Isn't in the north, but only with 70 units. I doubt he will be able to do an awful lot of damage, but who knows. And now we see Fire getting the castle up the hill. He might have a really easy time actually getting the castle down from Yo. But he might struggle with the Tarkans a little bit, as he's mainly on skirmishes, which aren't going to do anything against those Tarkans.
So he will switch into helps.
And yeah, indeed, quite a nice decision. It's going to be very... They will do a great job against the Tarkans, and obviously will be very cost efficient in terms of gold. We actually see Elite Tarkan coming in, so really nice investment of Fire to actually go on into helps from Hill, as we can see the upgrade coming through right now. So I'm not sure if the decision of Yo to go Tarkans right now is a great one, even though he has a lot of raiding potential, because Fire's map is very open and he's doing a great job right now.
Yeah, but Fire found gold on the other side of the map and is just walling it in now. Because he can't get his secondary gold.
Yeah, indeed, so that gold is going to be quite important for him. We see some reasonable raiding going on by Yo over here. We can see the TC being at less than half HP. Goes quite quickly with Tarkans. And Yo now moving to the north of the map is probably going to secure the additional gold as well. And wow, Yo just getting the whole army of Fire diverted by just one, or actually rather 4 Tarkans right now.
Yeah, he loses his TC for it, while he most likely could have defended it.
Yeah, he easily could have saved it, but look at how much damage the Tarkans can actually take before going down by the Cav Archers. Really working out. And we see Yo also putting a lot of pressure on the castle in front. Fire only got his first trebuchet out right now. We see 2 traps out for Yo. And just the nasty thing I also wanted to mention about the helps versus the Tarkans though, is that the Tarkans obviously can just run around and distract the helps a little bit whilst the other half just continues raiding. We see the castle of Fire, by the way, going down to the trap Fire. He's now trying to return the favor, and I don't think there's anything of Yo that will actually stop him, as there's a quite reasonable force of halberdiers over there protecting it, but still a lot of raiding going on for Yo, doing a great job with the Tarkans. As we can see, the villager difference going to 31 at this point. Even though Fire did quite a reasonable job walling over here on the left side, the Tarkans still do a lot of damage to the walls, and Yo is still getting a lot of raiding in, and the south of his base is still open by quite a bit, so I don't think the raiding will stop anytime soon. And in the meanwhile, he will just be able to open a new part in the wall.
He'll just keep sending them everywhere, so Fire doesn't know where to defend his army.
Yeah, now the CR going down as well, as we mentioned earlier. They're not going to do a great job versus the Tarkans. Well, at least Fire got 1 castle down from Yo, so that will slow down his Tarkan production a little bit, but I believe Yo is still on 3 castles rather right now, so he shouldn't have a problem from here on. And just look at all the Tarkans hitting the wall of Fire right now, just waiting to get in and get in this eco. Fire trying to drop a new castle on the hill, really wants to make sure he managed to control his stone and his gold over there, but it's still going to be quite a struggle. He might be able to take the castle of Yo down with the hill advantage, as he succeeded with the other one earlier. But still, he needs to deal with his raiding as well, because this is going to cost him a lot of stone to re-war and also a lot of time, which might not be the biggest thing if you have 100 villagers. But the Tarkans are just going to come in eventually, that's the problem.
Yeah, he's sending all the help to the side now to defend.
Yeah, so that will help him a little bit. It seems like, wow, just deleting it. The Tarkans might have a small opportunity to run in. The helps are in position, but there's just so many Tarkans right now. And there we have it, some more Tarkans in the south coming in as well. Not too huge, to be honest. But the harps are just so much slower.
Yeah, meanwhile Fire's castle is going down directly.
Oh wow, not... Yeah, this is the pesky thing. I mean, Yo still had the 2 trebuchets out yet earlier, or rather one of them I believe, as one might have went down. It's so hard to follow everything at the same time right now, and we see another massive wave of Tarkans hitting the front. And look, the players are quite equal in military count right now, but like 30 population of Fire's army is just skirmishes and cavalry archers, and it is just not going to work versus those Tarkans. And indeed, this castle's going down, so Fire will never be able to compete in this Tarkan warfare.
Yeah, the Tarkans are in.
Yeah, and the Harps are dealing with small groups of them, but they're never able to split up and deal with every single one of them. And the raiding is just dealing its damage, and we can see a huge drop in Fire's military as the Tarkans just slaughter the skirmishers, and the Tarkans also picking off so much fields over there. And it's really nicely started with Yo getting the good castle time, getting quite a boom going, and from there on he was really able to get those Tarkans out in those numbers, whereas sometimes they might not be as cost efficient if you do not get the right numbers. You obviously need the castles. He really had opportunity to do it this time, as he was quite ahead dealing the damage, having a huge build lead.
Yeah, and the elite targets only take 1 damage a shot from the cavalry archers and skirms.
But he really did a great job taking this advantage and from there on dealing the damage.